Today on CHGO Blackhawks, we welcome our buddy Steve Peters from PHNX for some Blackhawks video breakdown. We'll hear from Luke Richardson. We'll hear from Connor Bedard. And yes, we're going to talk about him, Patrick Kane, returning to Chicago tomorrow. All that and more on today's CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. We appreciate you being here with us today. We've got a big show coming up. You're going to hear from Luke Richardson. You're going to hear from Connor Bedard. We're going to get some injury updates, some thoughts on Patrick Kane's return, lots of stuff. But
second return,
we're going to start the show with our pal Steve Peters from PHNX. Before we bring in Petey, do us a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube page. Podcast listeners, like, review, follow, all that great stuff on all your favorite podcast apps. We really appreciate it. Petey, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. The weather is great here, nice and sunny. I don't know what it's like there in Chicago, but in Arizona, it's beautiful. Things are good.
It is rainy and warm in Chicago.
Now, snow's coming. Sorry to tell you guys.
Well, what? Hey, we got to ask you about the Arizona. What the hail in the middle of the football game? Like what?
Yeah,
what was that?
Yeah. And by the way, close the roof. Like, buddy, we all knew it was going to rain. Like, we all knew it was going to rain. I didn't know about hail.
Are there no weather apps in Arizona? They just figure it's going to be hot and sunny, that they don't know that rain's coming?
That is actually the truth. Every weatherman, it's the easiest job in all of weather. It's sunny and warm today in Arizona again.
more of that.
So, yeah,
tomorrow.
They snuck up on them. Yeah, it snuck up on them. So, there you go. The Cardinals look good. I'm sure you guys have seen that. They were good.
Yeah. We're gonna try to not think about
different show.
I know.
That anymore.
Not our show.
All right. So if you don't know Petey, you should by now. Follow him on Twitter at @SPetersHockey. Doing telestration for ESPN. He is our senior hockey analyst here at ALLCITY. Senior hockey analyst is what I like to say. And former goalie, NHL video coach. So we gave Petey a couple projects today, and of course, as he always does, he comes through. And on our minds, after the really solid performance against Anaheim, is the continued growth of Arvid Soderblom. I wanted to get Petey's take on what he's seen from Soderblom this year versus last year.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's. I wanted to be really bullish on Chicago, the Blackhawks, early in the year, and honestly, they're not that far ahead of where they were a year ago. But you look at some of the individual players, and this is one of them. I mean, Soderblom, you look at him a year ago, and his numbers a year ago were poor, and his numbers right now, I know it's a really small sample set. I know it's small. But you look at his goals against average right now, it's .927. Like that's elite.
Yeah.
Last year was .880. This year, save goals against .235. Last year, .392. That's a goal and a half per game. But it goes past the stats. I think he just looks different. He looks steady. He looks calm. He looks confident. And honestly, if Chicago, I know it's not playoffs yet. I know. But you're going to have two goaltenders that can play in this league. You just do. Guys get hurt, and you have to spell the other goaltender. I think Mrazek plays way too much, and it is an encouraging sign that Soderblom can go out there and get points because already he's got 3 points this year. Do you know how many starts it took him last year to get 3 points? 9.
All of them.
It took him 9 starts.
All
9.
of them.
Exactly. So he's not the same goalie. He's 25 years old, and I think he has taken a step this season for sure.
Well, it's nice, too, because with Laurent Brossoit, who they brought in this offseason to kind of be, you would think, split the time with Mrazek. He's been hurt. We've not seen him at all yet. And Luke Richardson mentioned it today. We're going to hear from him later in the show, that it's given them the way Soderblom's playing is it's given them the luxury of being able to ease Brossoit back a little slowly instead of having to rush him and have him deal with injury all year. So I know we've got your video breakdown. Anything we need to know before we fire this off?
No, it's just interesting because when you go back and look at what he was struggling with a year ago, and you watch, I know it's again small sample set, but you look and see how confident he looks. But I think the video speaks for itself.
All right, fire it up, Nate.
One of the issues he has is getting in the correct angle to stop weak side shots. You can see it here, how much room he gives up on the weak side. And this is a look you're going to see from Soderblom often, is when he's looking like this, looking to his blocker side and giving up those weak side goals. And you're going to see it over and over again from shots from the outside. And you're going to see that look when it's over, that angle off of the weak side. You're going to see it again off of the weak side where he ends up looking at his blocker side. So he's very consistent with that. But what has changed this year, he's got much more square to the puck, and his angle is much better, and he's much deeper in his net. And so what that allows him to do is take those shots into the breadbasket, then right in the middle, instead of having to look and lose those shots on the weak side. You see it again, square and solid to the puck, and he's able to take it in the breadbasket again, and he's deep on those shots. You're going to see it again, square on the shot, inside the blue paint, and he's able to make this save right in the breadbasket. One of the other issues he had is you'd play outside the blue paint, you'd get too deep, especially when there was another option like this. When there's a passing option to this side of the ice, this was another look that was pretty common with Soderblom in the net. You would see the empty net in behind him because he was out too far and he couldn't get there. You're going to see it again with the LA Kings. Again, he's out too far. He's out past the blue paint. So when you see this pass coming across, ends up this being the look. He's way outside the blue paint. He's looking back, and it's an empty net goal in behind him. But this year, he's back deeper. You can see here against Anaheim, 3 players just outside the crease, and he's tight. He's almost on the goal line, and that allows him to make the save. You're going to see it on the next one. Inside the blue paint, there's the passing angle to the side, and he's inside the blue paint, so he's able to get over. And here, everything comes together for him, where he's square on the puck, he's solid, he's inside the blue paint, so he makes the first save, and when there's a rebound, comes over to the side, but he's deep enough that he can get there. So those are some of the little things to look for his game. He's more square to the shooter, he's playing much more confident, and he's deeper in his net.
That's great stuff. I mean, I was getting almost PTSD from those shots you were showing of him looking at his blocker side, because it was happening all the time last year. And it's interesting, for a guy as big as he is, it was crazy to see him lose his crease as often as he did, like kind of panic that he wasn't covering enough space. You know, for a big goalie, correct me if I'm wrong, the more you move, what is he, 6'6"?
6'4".
6'4", whatever, close enough on skates. All you're doing when you're moving side to side is opening up your 5-hole over and over again and giving the opponent something else to shoot at. He does seem this year much calmer in the paint.
Yeah, it's funny because in Arizona, we went through a lot of those big goalies, Brizgalov, Dubnyk, Mike Smith, Sean Burke. Like, it's a long list of really big goaltenders that adjusted their game by playing deeper in their net. And I think it revived all of their careers. And I think Soderblom relied so much on his quickness and his reflexes and trying to be athletic that it really cost him. So now he's got to use his size and his smarts. And it's a different goalie. And I think it really shows at his ability to have confidence to be able to stand deeper in the net. You feel almost naked when you're that deep in the net because you feel like you're not covering enough of the net. When in reality, you don't have to move as far to make those other saves. So it's been a huge improvement for this team. And honestly, they got wins in 3 or 4, maybe. Maybe they're starting to turn the corner, and he may be one of the reasons why.
Yeah, I mean, in the 3 games he's played, I think each game we've at least made the comment once per game where it's just like Soderblom is way less scrambly than he was last season. And yeah, like you're saying, PD, I think the positioning is a big part of it. And goals saved above expected this year. He's at a 3.1 so far through the season. So each game he's saved a goal that he's not expected to. And yeah, I mean, he's been playing really well compared to last year. And you know, one of the things that Luke Richardson has said when talking about Arvid and his play dating back to last season, and then said it today, is that the team in front of him needed to cover the backdoor play better, and that they have been doing that this year, and that Arvid's got a little bit more trust that they can cover that. But I do wonder if that positioning, being so far out of the net, made those backdoor passes and those plays more prevalent and more easier to convert, because you already have a goalie that's further out of the net and further out of position to cover that back space.
You don't see it as much as you used to, but one guy that still plays very aggressive like that is Marc-Andre Fleury. He's another guy that's going to get right outside the blue paint. But a couple things. The Minnesota Wild have some very experienced defenders on that team. They defend the net better. They defend around the net better. They defend the crease better. Chicago's playing with 4 22-year-olds right now, or younger. And it makes defending the area around the crease and the blue paint in the house much, much, much more difficult. And so I think you're relying a lot more on your goaltender there. And you talked about his saves above expected. Last year, he was virtually even. So he's making the saves he's supposed to make, and he doesn't make any that he's not supposed to make. That's not good enough in the NHL anymore. So to your point, he's stopping more than a goal a game that he's not supposed to. If this team ends up being in tight games, that's enough to tilt the scales in favor of Chicago. So, I think it's a really good sign the way he's played so far this season.
The other day, when talking about Soderblom last year, Luke said the team in front of him was giving up too many goals from areas you should not be giving up goals from, which was causing him to, quote, shrink in his net. When you hear that as an ex-goalie, what does that mean when a goalie shrinks in his net?
Well, it's kind of what Jay was talking about before. He's talking about a big guy playing small. And I think what it does is you're trying to do too much yourself. And now you're almost hiding back there. You talk about fading back into your net. You feel like you have no protection. You've got to cover everything. I've got to cover the back door. I got to cover the slot. I got to cover the shot from the point. I got to cover the tip. I'm trying to do everything. And so when I have to do everything, I'm not doing anything. And I think when you talk about shrinking, now you play small, actually lean over to get over your toes more. And what that allows you to do is get bigger, stronger pushes so you can push farther distance. But when you get small and you get your body over your skates, you're making the net look much, much bigger. And I think that's one of the other changes you've seen with him, where he was always so low to the ice with his upper body. So he looks really, really small. Again, look at him now. His feet are planted, his body's up, he's way more confident, and he looks much bigger than he did even a year ago.
So the balance then of keeping your crease and challenging the shooter, is this kind of a thing that as a goalie gets experience and minutes under his belt, he learns the times to come out of the crease and really challenge a shooter versus staying back and protecting the crease? Because we hear that a lot. A confident goalie is a goalie that's going to come out far and challenge that shooter.
But it depends. It depends on the situation. And I think that comes with repetitions. I think that comes with more shots, because just coming out and being aggressive, you can do that in the right situation when there are no other options, when there isn't a passing option, when there isn't a player on the back door that can get a rebound or a tip or a screen. Then you can be out and be challenging. So I don't want to say goalies can't come out of their crease and out of the blue paint, because you're still going to see that. Again, you want to take the net away, but it's only in situations. And I don't think you can read all these situations until you've been in all these situations. And again, I go look at the goalies in this league that have elite numbers, that have size. I'm talking big goalies. Look at Hellebuck. Hellebuck's always in the blue paint. Like he rarely comes out. Again, if it's a one-on-one, a guy coming down the side, outside the dot, where he has no option to come back through the middle, then you'll come out and challenge more. But I do think for Soderblom, it's about getting more reps. It's about playing more and getting those situations. And I think last year he didn't play often enough. So when he did get a chance to play, I think he says, I got to prove myself. I got to be really aggressive. I've got to, get way out there and challenge these shooters. And you saw what that left in behind him. So I think now he's got a lot more confidence. And I don't know if that's goaltending coaching that's helping him do that. If it's the people he's playing around, if it's the players telling him, hey, you're doing great. I don't know what that is, but his confidence level is obviously higher than it was last year.
All right, we're about a minute from the break zone, but real quick, he will get sent down when Brossoit returns, whenever that might be. And they've got Drew Comezzo in the American Hockey League, who is their top goalie prospect. If it was up to you and you're coaching Rockford, how do you handle the load between Soderblom and Comezzo?
It's hard. The American leagues, you're trying to develop your future. And Comezzo, see, I don't know the pronunciations. You guys are good. He's the future. That's the guy. He's got to get more starts. He's got to get that action. However, I still believe you need two goalies to win in this league. So to me right now, it's 2-1. It's 2-1 Comezzo, but Soderblom's got to play. He's got to play at least one every 3 games, because somebody's going to get hurt again. And you're right. Having either one of those guys backing up and not playing as often as they should behind Mrazek isn't helping anybody. They got to play, and they got to play a lot of games now.
Well, as much as Soderblom is not part of the future, technically, he's 25. That's still young for a goalie.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we got to hit the break zone. When we come back, we're going to break down Isaac Phillips' goal against the Ducks and a weird power penalty kill, a goal against that the Hawks gave up where we didn't really know who to blame. Petey does, and he's going to tell us about us next on CHGO Blackhawks.
Richardson.
Yeah, right. Hey, do you like sports?
Yes.
Do you like wagering on
right.
sports? If you said yes to both of those things, then why not do it with our friends at Circa Sportsbook? Because whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football and all other sports is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it is sports betting the way that it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Some of the best around, I've been told. You can bet on all of your favorite teams in every game this season, including tomorrow night's Blackhawks, Red Wings rivalry night, Wednesday night hockey game. Both teams have 11 points coming into the game. It's pretty even. So if you want to put some money down on the Blackhawks, not a bad idea. Whether it's spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it all. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And our friends at Coors Light are the presenting sponsors of WishFest, Chicago's concert for a cause. WishFest is back at my new favorite music venue in Chicago with a Salt Shed. This Saturday, November 9th. It's a one-night indoor music festival uplifting families battling cancer across Chicago and the Midwest, featuring a unique lineup of music and an atmosphere unlike any other with crowd favorites OAR, Grammy-nominated superstar Mike Posner, indie folk sensation Will Dorado, and folk pop up-and-comer Hans Williams. A big party for only $150. It's an all-inclusive experience with 6+ hours of all-you-can-drink, food vendors, and a truly special atmosphere with all-night music and every dollar benefiting an amazing cause. All WishFest proceeds benefit Wish Forever's mission of uplifting families battling cancer, helping bring support to more than 600 families facing cancer with financial gifts totaling over $3 million. Get your tickets at wishfest.com/tickets. That's WEISH fest.com/tickets. Awesome job by Coors Light. Very near and dear cause to a lot of us on the South Side. So check that out. WishFest Saturday, November 9th at the Salt Shed. That's going to be
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Next up is our video breakdown. Nice play unfolded very beautifully. Isaac Phillips' goal against the Anaheim Ducks. Petey, do you want to just get the video out of the way first, or do we want to lead into it?
I'll set up really quick. This is one thing, again, for Blackhawk fans to be positive about, because all 6 players, including the goaltender, involved in this goal, and each had an integral part in getting this goal to happen, and they got the puck up the ice. And I think that's really important for this Blackhawk team, not to throw pucks away in the middle.
All right, let's hear it.
This play starts with a really good play by Soderblom. He makes a pass up the wall to Kaiser, and he's able to beat the first forward checker of the Duck player. And this gets the puck moving up the ice by the goal line. Now, Kaiser's got an option here. He could throw it to the middle of the ice to get it to Hall, but that would create a turnover. You want to keep the puck out of the middle of the ice. Instead, he chips it off the wall. Nice, safe play. Gets the puck to Taylor Hall, and Taylor Hall is able to move up the ice. As Hall gets up the ice, again, Hall can sometimes hang on to the puck too long, but he doesn't here. He sees the pressure coming from the Duck player, and he gets the puck up to Bedard. Now, the best puck handler on the ice right now has the puck, and as he gets to the blue line, now he's getting some help. Bertuzzi does a great job of driving the net. He uses his speed to drive the net. What does that do? Well, when you drive the net, you pull back the defender. When you pull back the defender, you create more room. So now Bedard has all kinds of space as he enters the zone. So as the puck continues to go up the ice, now you see Bertuzzi, he's pulled the defenseman back. Now there's all kinds of room at the top of the zone. Bedard delivers the puck over to Phillips. Phillips is coming at full speed onto this puck all the way through the neutral zone, and now he's got all kinds of room at the top of the zone. So as he gets the puck and gets ready to shoot, Bertuzzi does it again. This time he gets in front of the goaltender. The goaltender can't see, doesn't see this shot coming from Phillips as it's starting to release. Right at the top of the circle, can't see the puck, and as he releases the puck, the goalie is still looking for it, and Phillips has his first of the year.
I love that play because, as you mentioned, everybody's involved, and something that gets lost in the highlights there is Wyatt Kaiser, where a lot of players look at that. There's a little bit of space between those two defensemen, right in the neutral, right through the middle of the zone. He's like, no, you know what? I'm going to be smart. I'm going to bank it off the boards to Taylor Hall, who's sure-handed enough to take it. And just well done all around. That was sweet. That was a really cool play.
And for Kaiser, for me, it kind of what we talked about, the age of these young defensemen. You talk about throwing pucks to the middle when that it's easy to just break stuff down on film because we pause it and you have time. That player picks this puck up with a player coming at him fast. You gotta think quick. I see Hall out of the corner of my eye. I'm going to make that play. But you've seen it with this team turning the puck over in the defensive zone much, much, much too often. So play it safe, keep it up. It's a great play. Unfortunately, he doesn't get an assist on that play. And you saw how well Bertuzzi plays it. Yeah, unbelievable play by Bertuzzi. Drive in the middle lane and get in front of the goalie. Again, doesn't end up on the score sheet. But when you get everybody involved on those kind of goals, it makes you feel really good about your hockey team because everybody did the right thing. And Bedard, let's not kid ourselves, that's a great play at the blue line where he's able to buy himself some space and some time to let Phillips come as the late guy. It's a great goal. And again, feed off those positives where everything goes right. Even the goalie feels a little bit good about that one.
Yeah, makes the right chip play and gets everything going. Yeah, with Bertuzzi, I mean that's something that we've been talking about the last few games is that he's been getting into a groove with his game. He's been getting on the point sheet, score sheet, but even when he's not, scoring or setting up a play, he is being way more effective in causing turnovers in the forecheck, playing in the corners, and also like playing around the net. On that play, he drives and makes the screen. I think he provided a screen on another goal in the last game as well. Like he's really turned things around, and that's one of those guys that came in as a player that got some term with their deal and fits the mold of what Kyle Davidson and what the veterans of this team were saying of guys that can accept the role that they're going to need to play and excel in it. So it's very encouraging to see how Bertuzzi has been playing the last few games.
Yeah, and these veteran presence that these guys pulled in, it takes a while to click. It takes a while for everybody to fit into a new system, a new city, a new coach, new line mates. So, I mean, he's got 4 points through 13. I think people are surprised. I think they were probably expecting a little bit more offensively out of him. But as long as he continues to play like this and bring that spark that you need him to bring, that energy, then he's an effective player for this team.
Yeah, Phillips said post-game, when he was asked about joining the rush and deciding to shoot there, he said, I couldn't see the goalie, so I knew he couldn't see me, so I let it fly. So, I mean, and that was a great shot right into the upper corner, perfectly placed. But I think you'll get a kick out of this, Petey. The night before in the LA game, everybody in our chat was complaining about what a selfish player Taylor Hall is, and he never passes. And then he gets two assists on the first 2 goals. So I was like, almost as if he was listening to our post game show and took it to heart.
I'm sure he was. He's probably dialed in on the drive home. But interesting. And that's why I gave him credit for that play because right there he's got a lane and he thinks he can skate that puck. Like the old Taylor Hall is skating that puck 100% of the time. He's got a lane up the wall. He's got his defender beat. He's going to carry the puck. It's not the right play because he's going to end up turning it over at the blue line. Instead, he moves the puck ahead of zone. Always keep the puck moving forward. Keep it moving ahead of zone, and he did. And he gave it to Bedard, who had all kinds of room. It was honestly a very unselfish play by a player that sometimes carries the puck too often.
All right, we're going to go all the way back in the All-City time machine to Saturday, the game against the LA Kings. The first goal of the game, 3 minutes and 57 seconds into the game, the Hawks gave up a power play goal. And I think all of us watching it, our brains kind of malfunctioned because it just looked wrong. Clearly, a lot had gone wrong on that play.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jay and I started texting right then. And Jay, as we are to do in this business, the sky was falling. They might not win another game. And by overtime, we had all settled down and we're texting very happy things. Yes. But you're right. It was an odd goal. And this is one of the things about being a fan or being a video guy or trying to break down film is you need to put yourselves in the head of the players and the coaches and find out what are they supposed to be doing. Because I knew right away it looked like one player is making a mistake. And until I go and watch a bunch of situations where I see them doing it over and over and over and over again, then you can start to figure out who's supposed to actually do what. And then you can start laying blame on places. And I think that kind of gets overlooked. So right at first, I was putting the blame squarely on Jones. But as you watch Chicago's system, they really rely on other players too.
All right, let's see it.
On this penalty kill, you want to watch Jones' positioning right here because as the pass goes down, Jones's job is to go down along with that puck and try to protect the low area of the ice. Because ultimately, the goal scorer is in front of the net right now, and his job should be controlled by this weak side winger who's got to collapse, and by the net front D, who he also has to collapse to protect that back door. But because Jones doesn't go down, this player has way too much room in front of the net. And now the net front D has to help protect that area where Jones was supposed to be. This defenseman has to go protect that, which leaves the play in behind him all alone because he should be guarding the play in behind. And that's exactly what happens. An easy pass in behind, and that's a tap-in goal for the LA Kings. Now, here's what it should have looked like. Same players. Here's Jones again, this time against San Jose. And as the pass goes down, this time Jones does go down and collapse. And the weak side winger, he collapses too to help with that low play. So this is how it should look like when the play gets down low. Jones is here to attack, so this player has no room to get to the front of the net. The backdoor winger, yeah, he's got the guy in the back door. There is no way this pass is getting through because that forward's in front, so everybody is in the right position. That front D is stopping the pass through, and the weak side winger is helping protect the backdoor play. And because Jones gets there quick enough, Jones breaks up the play. The puck goes down the ice, and there's no goal on this penalty kill.
Okay, so that makes perfect sense. What is Jones thinking then on the first one? Why is he so high up in his zone?
It's funny because you watch it over and over again, and is he so concerned about the LA King forward there that if it's Connor McDavid, buddy, I'm all in. Like, or if that's Draisaitl on the power play or Pasternak on the power play, stay there because you know the puck's always going to come back there. But it's not the case in what the LA Kings were trying to do there. So I don't know if it was just a lapse by him. I don't know if he forgot where he was in the positioning at the time. It was a very surprise move for him because he's such an aggressive player. You worry about him being overly aggressive and chasing too much and you see it often in the defensive zone with Seth Jones where he chases the puck, where he should be staying in front of the net defending, he chases the puck. So in this situation, really surprising for him not to dive down and help out down low. So I don't know if he just had a mental mistake, a mental lapse, or somebody might have to ask the coach if they really wanted to protect that high play, which I have a hard time believing because it's a lot of open ice down low.
Great stuff. All right, before we let you go, we got to share this with you. Are you a video gamer?
What do you think, Jay? I'm 56. Like Pac-Man? Like
I'm 46. I play games.
I know what it is. I know what it is. Yes. I now that's the kind of stuff I can get into because my son would play and he would play NHL and I would look for people on the bench even though they weren't really there. And one of my buddies, who was a medical guy for the Washington Capitals, ends up being on the game. But no, I do not play.
Okay. Well, so yesterday, for the first time in years, they added the actual likenesses, I'm using air quotes, of NHL coaches. And I wanted you to take a look at John Tortorella. They gave him the reverse Petey.
If that's John Tortorella, buddy, that is so. You know how many people I've had call me saying, "Did I pose for that picture?" Where's technology today? By the way, I did off the record, and I did reach out to the Coaches Association to find out if they were involved in any of this, and there will be some phone calls today. Let's just say that.
Interesting. Yeah, because
some of them were great. Some of them were great. Some of
Luke was okay.
Bilesma was dead on. Like there were some really, really good ones. Tortorella was not. That
was not a good one.
The Luke Richardson one was okay.
Luke was okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people playing as the Chicago Blackhawks right now. No, I'm kidding. No. Connor Bedard. I was kidding. They're playing.
Probably a lot of kids in Vancouver want to be Connor Bedard.
I would think this team they've won 3 out of 4, and I think they've turned the corner. I think this is a big point in their season. Last year at this time, they lost 6 straight. And if they can pull some points out over the next 6 games, do I think this is a playoff team? I'm going to keep saying it, and people are going to keep getting mad at me. Probably not. But I do think they are doing things
mad
better.
at you for that.
Are people really getting mad at you for that?
No. I'm used to it in Arizona because I said it in Arizona for so many years, and they were, this team is better. No, they're not better. They
Petey, stop being right.
In Arizona. So no, this is fun. I appreciate you letting me guys come on and talk some Blackhawk hockey. Honestly, this team will be fun again.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you always.
Thank you.
All right, that's Petey, our senior hockey analyst at the ALLCITY Network. Follow him on Twitter at @SPetersHockey. It's always great stuff. He's always on with the What Chaos guys. He's always on all over the network, so there's always great video breakdowns going on. So don't miss any time Petey is on. We love having him.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, talk to you soon.
Yep.
And we got to hit the break zone one more time before we get to Luke Richardson, Connor Bedard and start talking about Blackhawks and Red Wings. That's coming up next on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. But I'm hoping by now you know that ComEd can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient.
You guys know my memory is spotty. So, Jay, I did not know that. Can you refresh?
Greg finally gets it.
I remembered this time.
And now I've got to catch you up. The energy efficiency program can help find up to, Greg?
35%, I hear.
Exactly. In energy savings.
Tony Esposito % worth of saving.
Wow.
Yes.
So how does a business, how do they do that? What do they have to do?
They have to sign up for a free facility assessment at comed.com/biz.
It sounds so simple. Why aren't more businesses doing that?
Well, perhaps they forgot the website.
How can you forget the website?
Well, you did.
It's so simple. comed.com/biz. comed.com/biz, B-I-Z. comed.com/biz. comed.com/biz.
All right, four times. Okay, that's got to be that's the charm.
That is, yeah.
Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customers' energy usage and rate. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law. So that's exciting.
Got to stop me sometimes when I repeat my mantras.
Hey, while you got 35% off your next energy bill, why don't you take that money and buy some tickets to some stuff like concerts and comedy shows and theater and maybe Blackhawk games?
Maybe.
That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks, and that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you just the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They've got some great deals. You want to go see the Hawks and the Wings tomorrow night at the United Center? Those tickets have dropped, actually, from the last time we talked. $32 gets you in the door. Sunday, we're all going to be there for the takeover. You still want to come and hang out? $28 is the cheapest ticket for that. And plus, if you're thinking about the Winter Classic, Game Time is running a special deal now through December 2nd. Get an exclusive discount, 10% off on all bleacher seats and up to 25% off on home plate area seats to the Winter Classic. So the longer you wait on those, the harder it's going to be to grab those Winter Classic tickets if you want to go see the Hawks and Blues at Wrigley Field. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO, not SN, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time.
/biz.
/biz, of course. All right, so we had practice today. Not a ton going on. Wyatt Kaiser left practice after taking a
stick to the face
or puck or something to the face, but he's going to be okay. No line changes.
Well,
saw Brody getting some time with Nolan Allen.
With Kaiser.
Yeah,
Allen was rolling with Seth Jones, which was interesting. We'll see if that continues for tomorrow's morning skate session or if that was just a practice thing, like let's kind of switch things up. But yeah, other than that, forward group was the same. Brody and Phillips were rotating through. I mean, I don't see how you take Isaac Phillips out.
No,
he's been playing okay the last two games. Scored the last one, as we saw with Petey. So I still think you roll with the same lineup. And I mean, honestly, a thing I didn't think I would say this year. Mrazek or Soderblom, either one I'm fine with starting tomorrow. And then, you got back-to-backs on the road against Dallas the next night. So I'm actually comfortable with either one of them, whoever you want to flip-flop.
It's a really nice situation to be in.
It is.
It's one of the many things that Luke Richardson addressed when he met the media today. So let's hear it. This was about, hour and a half ago at Fifth Third Arena.
Yeah, no, we've had a couple of road trips at the beginning of the year, and I don't know if I love the back-to-backs and 3 and 4 so early in the year, but there's nothing you can do about that. I think everybody's got it. But I do like a couple trips like that early for our team. We have a lot of new players. they have a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit more, spend more time with each other, and I think it's worked out well. I thought the guys had a lot of character in the last 2 games. We could have, again, we said it after the first trip, and I think after that San Jose game, it really set in with our team. I know we didn't have a great start against LA, but I think it's still stayed with them that close isn't good enough anymore, and I think that's what kind of brought us back and dialed us back in that second half, or especially the third period of the LA game, and I think that's a big step for this team. And then not to be just satisfied with 1 win at the end and getting 2 wins on the trip, to really push for 3, and playing the next day. I'm probably a little fatigued, and just I thought they executed much better in a 60 minutes against Anaheim. So I'm happy with the road trip. Again, saying that, we could have had more points even.
Last year, it seemed like when things went badly on the road, they went very badly. Is there something different in the mentality this year, that even if you have a tough period, that guys aren't letting it spiral?
Yeah, I think this group's close already, and maybe partly because of those 2 road trips, lots of time together, but lots of guys have been experienced around the league, and I think they're a good group. They hold each other accountable, and it doesn't kind of linger, or nobody's grudgeful. It's just the way it is. And I think like I said earlier, the frustration, there's always going to be frustration, but in the LA game, we were very sloppy. Our passing, our execution wasn't great. There's always frustration. You hear it from north-south on the bench, the forwards to the D to the forwards. But I think we dial it back in a lot quicker now, and we get refocused, and I think that's has to say a lot about the leadership of the team and the veterans.
Where's Laurent Courtois at?
He's in the gym. He had a gym day today, so hopefully, I don't know if it's on the ice tomorrow or this week, but same as Martinez. He was on the ice by himself, and we're hoping, I don't have a timeline on either of them, but hopefully they're going to make their graduation and be back soon.
Did Courtois have a setback? It seems like we're past his original timetable.
Yeah, I think it was past the original timetable, but I think you just never know, and especially with goalies, I think you got to make sure that they go through the progression, because it's that up and down position. It's really hard on your body. I remember when I was in Montreal, it was a very similar. Carey Price coming back from injuries. It took a little longer than maybe we would put on a player. So at the beginning of the year, we don't really need to push him. I think Sody's playing great, and Peter's playing excellent. So let him take the proper time for a goalie that's been around a long time to do it properly.
That's Donato, in camp, where he saw him, if he even had a fit on this roster, and he said he was 50-50. So when you look at where he was and where he is now, does that remind you of any player that you played with? What do you think of that whole?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he took it upon himself to work on his skating and fitness in the summer, and knew that was an area that he can improve on, because he is a really tenacious guy and can shoot a puck. He doesn't need to really work on that. Just getting himself more opportunities to do it, I think, was the goal, and I thought he did an excellent job of that, and we saw it in training camp. Deserved to start the year, move, and he's a guy that can move around, and he's 100% fine with it. Yes, coach, whatever you need. That's the answer you get. And you put him at center, right wing, left wing, kill some penalties some games, power play now, and he's getting it done. And I think that's just shows a determination of a player that knows that maybe he has to work his way in, and he's taking advantage when he does that. I don't know if I can really attribute it to anybody, that I can remember that's like that, but I'm sure there's lots of players that are in that boat where you're not sure where they even came from, but they're there and they're doing well.
What have you seen differently from Arvid this year?
I think more the same from the beginning of last year. I think he was confident, and I'm not, giving him any excuses for last year or anything, but I thought we didn't do a great job in front of him after the beginning of the year when we got injuries and when we got, took a lot of blows to our lineup. I thought we started letting a lot of goals in the back door. And I said it before, I think it makes a goalie feel unconfident and untrustworthy of our system and our defensive zone or line rushes against it. He starts to sink, and then a big goalie is not so big anymore. So where he was really good last year against the 2 Toronto wins was very similar to last night's game. Like secondary chances around the net, solid on the post. I mean, I think he's just confident. He's worked on his game to get it back up over the summer, very much like Donato came in and great shape, confident, worked on his game, knows it's an opportunity, and is trying to make the most of it.
It buys you a little time with Brossoit too.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think that's another thing. It'll let a goalie that's been around for a while and some miles on him, that you want to make sure that he takes the proper amount of time. Otherwise, then you're limping to the end of the season because it's going to bother you the rest of the year. So this has been really good timing for Arvid and for us as a team.
When you have a guy like Patrick Kane that comes back, that has meant so much to an organization, do you ever have to worry about like kind of dominating the atmosphere with the team that he used to be on?
I don't think you're going to control that. I think the fans obviously are going to welcome him back and appreciate what he brought to this organization, and we'll do it after the game. But we want to do it in a condoling way and say nice try instead of nice game, great game. He's a great leader that did a lot of things, I think, on the ice, but I've heard lots of things off the ice that people don't even know about it, and I think that's a great legacy to have. And I know he's competitive. He wants to continue his career and win. Unfortunately, it just didn't work in our timetable here, and he's doing his thing that he's always done, and he's doing it again this year. So we got to be very alert for him and not get caught up in the attention that he's getting, and just play him like any other really good player.
Wyatt Kaiser, is he okay?
Yeah, he just took a high stick, no teeth or anything like that, just a couple, probably going to get a couple stitches, and that's it. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
All right, Luke Richardson, courtesy of my phone.
Nice.
You're welcome, everybody. Good stuff. The Brossoit stuff is weird. I'm not gonna freak out about it, but like this has become kind of a trend where they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's this many weeks," and then that many weeks plus 4 later, they're sending it out there, and it's like, what is really going on? But it seems like today was just a gym day. He said it should be on the ice tomorrow morning skate.
Yeah,
is that what he means, or is he gonna be at fifth third?
It sounds
He's
like
been for a couple morning skates.
It sounds like tomorrow he'll probably be out ahead of morning skate. Maybe he'll actually participate. I don't know. We'll see. But I think you guys were talking about it at practice. Like if Soderblom wasn't playing the way he was, maybe Brossoit would get a little, push to get on the ice a little faster than he has been. But if it's something that still requires him to recover back to 100%, I would rather them make sure he is 100% before jumping back on the ice if he doesn't have to ahead of time.
Yeah, it's a knee injury for a goaltender. Let's take as much time as
Luke
possible.
made that point too. It's hard to analyze those versus regular skaters.
And if Arvid was giving up 4.5 goals a game, I bet you they'd be like, "So, how's that knee feeling, Laurent? You want to get out there, give it a test?"
Yeah.
But now you have Soderblom playing really well,
Yeah.
so like, hey, take your time. We're good. The spot will be here when you're ready. I'm itching to see him play, but the way Soderblom's playing, it's okay. Like we'll see Arvid Thursday against Dallas. That's going to be a test. That's a step up in class from the Anaheim Ducks. And he'll have a tired team playing in front of him. So if he can have another solid game, it's like, okay, like just keep rolling with it until it's not working anymore.
Absolutely. By the way, a theme of today, Luke said it, Petey said it. I had 2 conversations at practice that were not on the record, so I won't name the people. But all 4 have observed that this team is like really starting to gel. And not only off the ice, but also on it. They're starting to figure each other out a little bit, starting to learn the tendencies. And because of the 2 extended road trips to start the season, they're also bonding together. If you read what Scott Powers wrote this morning about Lucas Reichel, which is really great, he talked to Pat Maroon and Craig Smith about Lucas Reichel. Great stuff about like how their veteran presence has helped him a lot. Like I think that we're starting to see the vision here when this team was put together starting to come together. And we talked about it the other day. Like, was it a matter of, you bring in all these character guys, but when character guys don't know each other and don't know their teammates, they're not necessarily going to be programmed to go to battle for those guys right away. And I think that is starting to form. And the way you're seeing the team compete in games, even when they start poorly or things start going wrong, they always seem to find a way at some point to come back and push. Where last year we saw that almost never.
Yeah.
And now if they can start putting those together instead of for 20 minutes or 25 minutes or 30 minutes, it becomes 40 minutes or 45 minutes and then eventually 60, then this team's going to be, maybe they don't get there because the start was a little slow, but in that 80-ish point range that we all kind of predicted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love for the way that they closed out the game against the Kings, the way they played against the Ducks. I would love for those efforts to translate into tomorrow night's game. It is a winnable game. You're at home. You've got some momentum. If the Red Wings haven't been they haven't been clicking the way that I think a lot of people may have expected them to. So I think this is a game that you can go in. You can have some momentum. Your Wednesday night hockey, you're going to have the national audience. It's a good way to put on a show. You're going to have your first home game after a long road trip, even though you got to get right on the plane and go to Dallas right after it. But you get a little bit of boost of the home energy. Like I would love for all of that to kind of cultivate together and culminate together, and then produce a really well-rounded game in a full 60-minute effort. Like keep getting rewarded for those games with points in the standings and not moral victories.
Well, the energy should be high tomorrow night. You got the Red Wings in town. That's always ups the ante a little bit. There'll be a lot of, Detroit transplants that live in the Western burbs now. They're at the game, and
tough week for them with the Yankees and Cowboys losing.
And then we'll have Patrick Kane. It's not going to be quite as electric as last year's game. There's no Chris Chelios jersey retirement, but there's going to be a buzz in the building. It's a national broadcast. The Red Wings have struggled. Red Wings have the same amount of points as the Blackhawks do right now. They cannot score goals. They are one of the worst goal-scoring teams in all of hockey right now. Patrick Kane, and I'm jinxing it right now, so you can yell at me tomorrow night.
Don't even say it.
Yes,
Don't even say it.
I'm going to say it, and you're going to listen to it. The bum has 2 goals. 2.
Oh, here comes 5 tomorrow night.
He's been saving them.
All the moaning and crying that Connor Bedard can't score. He's good. Last time I checked, 3 is more than 2.
That is correct.
That's true.
The math checks out.
Yes.
Ryan Donato is 4 times better than Patrick Kane at this point.
Yes, it's true. Vladimir Tarasenko only has 2 goals.
I hate that you're doing this, buddy.
Lucas Raymond only has. It's going to be my fault. Grow up.
It's gonna be an 8-2 game tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's not going to be my fault.
Okay.
All right, clip it.
That is at
facts.
Greg Boyson on Twitter.
I'm stating facts.
48 minutes into the show.
And maybe yell at the players giving up goals to these bum-ass players that can't score goals.
Buddy, I hope you're right. I was thinking about it driving in today, the moment when Patrick Kane got that breakaway in overtime, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
I just started standing up already. I'm just like, what? This is inevitable. This is, of course, the way this is going to end.
Yeah, and he's probably going to score 4 goals tomorrow. It's not going to be my fault.
The Red Wings, to back up.
Charlie immediately places bet on Kane or a hat trick.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Charlie.
To back up what Greg is saying with analytics and stats, at 5v5 this year, the Red Wings are being outchanced 437 to 592, worst in the league at a 42.47% Corsi percentage. Shots for at 5-on-5, they are being outshot 292 to 206. I'll do it the proper way this time. Worst in the league at a 41.37% rate there on shots for percentage, and at 5-on-5 goals for percentage, 20 to 15. They're being outscored at 5-on-5. That's 26th in the league, 42.8%. The Blackhawks, for reference, are 18th in the league, 23 for, 23 against, and even 50% at 5-on-5.
Yeah, they are 25th in goals for per game at 2.64. That is worse than the Blackhawks. They are giving up 3.18 goals a game, which is 20th in the league, also worse than the Blackhawks. They are 29th in penalty kill at 67.6%.
That's bad.
So get some power.
67% penalty kill?
Penalty kill, yeah. That's 29th out of 32 teams. But their power play is at 26.5, 7th in the league. So draw some penalties. Don't take penalties. You should be fine. Shots on goal per game, 34.1, 31st in the league. Worse than the Blackhawks at shooting goals. And they are allowing 35.7 shots per game.
That's a lot of shots.
The most in the NHL.
That's crazy.
They are not a good hockey team.
Oof. And they traded Olimata? What the hell?
Yeah, they sure did. One more fancy stat that I like, and it's just kind of fun to me. PDO, which is shooting percentage plus save percentage. Both the Red Wings and Blackhawks are tied at 5-on-5 PDO, ranked 16th and 17th, respectively, in the league at 1.004.
That's
basically
average.
That's break even.
Yeah. You want to be
like
at
100.
You want to be 1.0 and better.
Yes.
So
that's what they are.
Yeah, they both are.
It's basically telling you both teams are what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting because I would think that I'm probably just basing this on Connor Bedard because the shooting percentage is so low.
Right. Yeah.
But you also have Ryan Donato who's shooting
40% shooting percentage. Yeah.
So
it evens out.
No,
yeah.
I am excited about tomorrow's game. Like anytime, and I know it has lost a little bit with younger fans. The Red Wings rivalry doesn't mean as much, but to me, like for those that don't know, Bill Wirtz would sell blocks of tickets to Detroit travel agencies first. So the United Center or Stadium would be full of Red Wings fans, especially in the really thin days, like the mid-2000s when the team was awful. It would be 60-70% Red Wings fans.
Yeah.
And the Hawks would get their butts kicked. I forgot we can't swear anymore because of Roku and Samsung. They just get their butts kicked for 60 minutes, or they would lose in the most painful way possible.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah,
it was like being a road fan in your home building.
Red Wings Blackhawks games in the early 2000s were terrible to be at for Blackhawk fans.
It was a loss every time. It was like a Bears Packers game.
Because the Blackhawks were probably the worst team they've ever been at that time, and the Red Wings were Cup contenders.
And the worst part about it was Hawks fans had such hatred in their heart for Red Wings fans, and the Red Wings, there was no reciprocation.
Yeah.
It was like afterthought. Very much the way the Hawks were with the Wild and Nashville during the dynasty, where those two franchises hated the Hawks, and the Hawks were like, who?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Wild. Yeah, I remember that.
We usually beat you in the first round.
Right?
Yeah, that first round bye team.
The Blackhawks are our main rival. Like, are they? Because it doesn't a rivalry have to go both ways?
Probably how Packer fans feel about the Bears.
Probably.
That is accurate.
They don't care about the Bears at all.
Yeah, it's probably the Vikings and Lions.
Because the Bears don't beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can't hate a team that you beat every time you play.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's always, either way, though, anytime it's an original six team, it's a cool atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the Patrick Kane thing does add some juice to it. That's for sure.
It does. I mean, you look at how him ending the game last season was received. You had Blackhawks fans wearing Patrick Kane jerseys cheering that the Red Wings had just won because Patrick Kane scored a dramatic overtime winner.
Hated that.
Yep. That really, didn't enjoy that. But I think there's still going to be some of that. There's still going to, I think there's always going to be that for as long as Patrick Kane is playing in the NHL. And if it's not in Chicago, there's always going to be that when he does come back and play in Chicago because of what he meant to the team and the lasting impact he has on the fan base. But I wonder if it's going to be as big as it was last time, because last time was his first time coming back, and it also was Chelios's jersey retirement night. But this will, I mean, it's still going to be, I'd imagine this will be a packed house even for a weekday night. Like it's going to be a good atmosphere. I can't wait. I love the original six matchups, especially against the Red Wings.
It's one of the things that Connor Bedard spoke about today. So before we wrap up, we wanted to hear from the Blackhawks young star. Here's Connor Bedard earlier today.
He has more goals than Kane.
How's it like playing with Ryan?
Too seriously.
Yeah, I mean he's on fire right now. It's fun. Such a hard worker. You guys obviously don't see behind the scenes off the ice, but just like how much time and effort he puts into everything. So it's really good to see him doing this, and we know he's going to keep going.
And how does his work up front kind of help you?
Yeah, I think he just caused a lot of chaos out there with forechecking and being physical and always moving his feet. So it kind of gives myself and Kirsch maybe a little more quiet eyes.
Obviously, you have Patrick Kane coming. A lot of hype goes around that, the matchup against you. Do you get into that at all, or is it kind of been there, done that now?
No, I mean, I think with any player you play against, it's cool when you look at it, but when you're playing hockey. It doesn't really matter who you're playing against. So, you're never really that starstruck feeling or whatever. But I think for the city and for the fans, they're obviously excited that he's coming. And last year the ovation and everything he got, it was cool. So I'm sure everyone will have fun, watching him and watching us go against him.
Did you skate with him at all this summer?
No, he was here. I was back home, so I didn't skate with him this summer. I have once a couple summers ago, but I think a few guys skated with him this year here.
Have you ever stayed in contact with him at all?
Not really. We're not texting on a normal basis at all, but he's reached out a couple times with congratulations and stuff, and everyone here says he's a great guy, so it's nice he'd do that.
You're gonna try laying another hit on him, or?
Probably not. I mean, I don't think I have a hit recorded this year, so we'll see, but I highly doubt it.
There's Kane who said you can't deliver a hit if you lose.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, I guess. I think definitely not either of our games. So I don't think you'll see either of us really hitting anyone too hard.
Now that you've had a nice long road trip with this team, how do you see it all gelling? What are the big differences between this year's team and last year's team, and just in demeanor and that?
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot more guys, older guys and stuff, and I think that helps just with their experience, and when we get scored on or something doesn't go right, then they can kind of be that calming presence or whatever. And I think just with our team, we feel good with our game right now, and feel like we could have a lot more wins. Obviously, we don't. We gotta close the deal with games, but we feel good with how we're playing for the most part.
What kind of impact does it have on the team when you have two goalies playing as well?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, they've been rocks for us this year, both of them, and seeing Soty go in there after not playing for a little bit, and we know how excited he was to get back in there, and he was unbelievable. So having those two guys for us every game, being as good as they are, it's so helpful, and we just have so much confidence in both of them.
There he is.
For the record, Connor
Yes.
Bedard has registered 3 hits this season.
Goon.
0.69 hits per 60.
Nice. That's a nice pace.
I do believe he also then would have a .69 goals per 60 pace as well, considering he has 3 goals and 3 hits.
Yeah,
should be the
he's
same
doing
math.
it for the
That would
lulz.
make sense. Yeah.
That's what he's doing. All right, we are going to be back tomorrow after the game, 7 p.m. puck drop. So if you have tickets, it's starting a half hour earlier than usual, so don't miss it. Make sure you see the pregame presentation. It's all very good. We'll be on after the game, and we want to thank everybody that over the last week or so joined our Die Hard program. I think over the All-City Network, somewhere close to almost 2,000 new diehards across the market. So thank you so much for doing that. If you missed out on the discount, it's okay. You can still become a diehard. It is still a great value at the regular price. Little birdie tells me maybe something around Thanksgiving, maybe the Friday after, could be another deal.
Do they put stuff on sale that day?
Not that I've ever heard of. I think we invented that.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mailbag Monday. They should call it like Black Friday.
Ooh,
It's like your company gets
like
into the black.
Yeah.
All right, trademark that. I just made that up.
That's true.
Yeah.
Is that really why they call it Black Friday?
Yes.
Are there other sales maybe like on the Monday where you just go online?
Ooh.
We could do that.
Something like
a cyber
Inter
sale.
Monday. Oh, cyber sale. I
Yeah.
like that. Cyber Monday. Oh, we are just turning out the ideas.
Let's go.
Damn. Well, anyway, welcome to all of our new diehards. We've got a bunch of great stuff coming out. My rebuild report on Thursday will be about Arvid Soderblom. I had a great conversation with Darren Pang today. Petey, obviously, Luke Richardson talked about it. Got a bunch of stuff, so I hope you'll enjoy that. This is one of the many diehard things we do. The Ice Hawks recap, rebuild report, morning chirps, everything, and that's just the Hawks all across the board. We are constantly churning out diehard content. You also save 20% on all of our merch, 20% off on all of our events and takeovers and everything. So it's a great value. It really helps us keep going. So please become a diehard today at allchgo.com. We will talk to everybody tomorrow night after Blackhawks and Red Wings right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.